All right, sorry. Sorry about the silence. I was looking at a chat message.
Report saying that some Democratic lawmakers released a video urging members of the military to ignore unlawful orders. In fact, look at this. Trump said on Truth Social this morning, "This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up." And then, a short time later, the president finished with this thought: seditious behavior, punishable by death. Heavy words there.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I like when my president says seditious behavior punishable by death. Heavy words there is crazy.
Willie, take us through what prompted these posts from the president. He is clearly triggered by something.
He's yes, yes. Oh my God, what I would give to see every news network call Trump triggered.
Yeah, that's right, Reed. Well, this video was posted on social media. Democratic lawmakers who also served in the military posting this message to troops, saying essentially that they don't have to follow an unlawful order. Then you saw Trump's response, posting the Washington Examiner article about that social media post. Speaker Johnson, the leader of the Republicans in the House, is also responding to this as well. When he was asked about the punishable by death part of the president's statement, he essentially said that the president was defining the crime of sedition. He then goes on.
The king is mad that no one is loyal to his madness. It's incredible that we're here. No, guys. The thing is, you have to understand that Trump is just trolling. You see, when people showed up at the Capitol and said, "Hang Mike Pence," that was a troll. He was trolling.
If Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
Asmongold viewers be like, "They were trolling, sir." Your Honor, it was simply a troll. Do you guys remember when I talked about how saying that you were just following orders is not a defense for something, and then a bunch of people got really fucking mad? Even though that's like the basis of the Nuremberg trials, that you can't just say that you were just following orders, because you can't just follow orders to just execute fucking everyone that you feel like executing because some other guy told you to do that. I like how Democrats put out one of the most lukewarm messages, which is just, hey, actually, you guys don't have to do anything illegal. You guys are allowed at any point to disobey orders that are illegal. You are allowed to do that. You know, because just following orders isn't a valid defense. And you can't just commit war crimes and heinous acts and be like, well, I was just following orders. And that's where we're at now. Just following orders is my defense when I'm doing something my wife wants, but I'm not inclined to do. It's a valid defense for that. Yeah. Real. You know, you get it. Then you're free of all charges. If you're just doing what your wife wants, you're free of all charges. You're free to go. The keys to the city are yours. Please. I think the exact wording is that you believe is illegal. Your Honor, my client was simply going goblin mode. Yeah. Yes, the happy wife, happy life legal doctrine. It's true. It is true. You can look that up. I am a lawyer, and you can look it up. That is a valid defense.
Earlier today, Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social calling for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. He also posted a message that said, seditious behavior, punishable by death. Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. This is an outright threat, and it's deadly.
Do you have a Schumer allergy, Denim? No, I have a cuck allergy.
Serious. We've already seen what happens when Donald Trump tells his followers that his political opponents are
weird that it's going off right now.
Every time Donald Trump posts things like this, he makes political violence more likely. None of us should tolerate this kind of behavior. We all remember what January 6th was like. We lived through January 6th. We have lived through the assassination and attempted assassinations this year. We have members whose families have had to flee their homes. When Donald Trump uses the language of execution and treason, some of his supporters may very well listen. He is lighting a match in a country soaked with political...
How can you talk about Donald Trump, the head of the Burger Reich, talking about executing congressmen, and the best you can muster is the most boring old man speech I've ever seen in my fucking life?
Gasoline. Earlier today...
Like, how? This is such an easy slam dunk, and it's like, I just want to tell all of you, Trump is up to no good again. If you can believe it, he's up to no good. Anyways, vote for me. It's like, he's tired. He's like 5,000 years old. I'm just saying, dude. And I've been saying, just like anyone with a brain, that we should have a goddamn age limit for Congress people. And personally, I think that the age limit should be linked to the median age expectancy, life expectancy. It should be that minus 20% or minus 30%. I'm sorry, if the average American is like living to 70 or 80, why the fuck do we have 95-year-olds in Congress writing rules? That makes no sense to me. And I don't think it makes sense for anyone else. If you're not even going to see the laws that you put into place take effect, why the fuck should you be allowed to make them? Then you'd be stuck with mostly young blood, no people of experience. Yeah, dope. The experience shit is like experience with taking lobbying money. Look what experience has gotten us so far. Bernie bro's seething right now. Listen, Bernie is like the exception to the rule. Bernie is the exception to the rule. If you look at the average age of Congress over the years, it skyrockets in the 90s. Yeah. The experience we have now is how to scam the people. And that's the biggest problem that I have. It's like, it's not even good experience. It's literally not even good experience. It's just your experience with taking lobbying money, your experience insider trading. Okay, hold up. I can believe Megan, oh my God. Megyn Kelly. I wanted to keep saying Megan Melly is at this point where it's just full blown, just defensive Trump to the last step.
It says Trump walked
to
into
the
a
final
house
step
with Epstein and allegedly fondled her upon meeting her. Okay, that's what the best they have so far. And they're waiting for some sort of smoking gun in these materials. So I think Trump did his 180 because he had to. He knew he was going to lose it. There is not a single woman who has said, yes, I was trafficked by Epstein to Trump. There is one that says Trump walked into a house with Epstein and allegedly fondled her upon meeting her. Okay, that's the best they have so far. Oh, that's it? That's the best they have so far? Thankfully, there aren't 1,000 victims that haven't shared their stories. What a single woman who has said, yes, I was trafficked by Epstein to Trump. There's one who says Trump walked into a house with Epstein and allegedly fondled her upon meeting her. Okay, that's what the best they have so far. And they're waiting for some sort of smoking gun in these materials. So I think Trump did his 180 because he had to. He knew he was going to lose it. There is
okay. Fondling is okay, apparently. Yeah, it's fine if you fondle. The first time you meet someone, you fondle them. That's fine because you aren't being sex trafficked, so it doesn't count. Oh, okay. Oh. Right, sure. No mention of age, by the way. Lest we not forget that Trump bragged about being able to walk around back changing rooms in the Miss Teen USA pageants, and also said he probably would be banging his daughter if she wasn't his daughter. Also, she was 15. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I get that even they know that they're selling horse shit, but I can't believe that they're doing it. You know what I mean? I think the problem is if you have any moral compass, it's crazy to think that anyone would just not care and just be like, well, I'm just going to consistently insist that what Trump did was fine and he didn't do anything wrong. First it was, there is no Epstein list. Well, sorry, first it was, the Democrats are the only people on the Epstein list. Then it was, there is no Epstein list. Then it was, the Epstein list is a hoax. Then it was, okay, maybe it's not a hoax, but we're not in it. I feel really bad for anyone who's fallen for this shit. Like, that's brutal. That's brutal, brutal, brutal. U.S. Justice Department will release files from its investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein within 30 days. Attorney General Pam Bondi said after Congress voted nearly unanimously to force the Trump administration to make them public.
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Maximum transparency. Follow the law. And by the law, do you mean Trump? Bad news. The law says the DOJ decides what can be released. Also, Pam Bondi just announced the Epstein files would be released within 30 days, the very same files she previously claimed did not exist. Epstein client list does not exist, DOJ says. Someone was bringing back this interview.
This is about so much more than one person, Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell or Donald Trump. But because Donald Trump is a person who, of course, owns Mar-a-Lago, I just have to ask if you think he was aware of that arrangement.
I don't know if he was aware. Actually,
I can't believe people watch this shit and think, yeah, this victim that came forward, she definitely didn't name Trump and say that Trump was there or that Trump was directly involved, because he wasn't. It's definitely not that she's afraid and terrified to answer because she doesn't want to get fucking suicided. And it has to just be that she just didn't know. She doesn't know, and that's why. It's like, what? Of the President of the United States, translation, I don't want to die. Yeah. Sorry, a couple of chat messages really quickly. We can't prove if there's a list or not, but there better be a list, because if not, Trump lied again. How are we supposed to trust the government that they release all the files untouched? Like, we'd need a third party to verify all this. I mean, there almost certainly is a list, considering the fact that, I don't know if you've read the emails between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff, but Jeffrey Epstein almost admits to basically blackmail. Let's see how we can play this. Let's see. If we play this right and Trump gets in power, we have Trump in our pocket, or we can, curry favor with Democrats and kill Trump with this information. Like, the guy had fucking recordings of everything in his fucking child sex trafficking mansion on his island, right? So, like, he kept an extensive record of all these things because he was using it for blackmail. There almost certainly is a full client list. Because if you're trying to blackmail people, you probably want to keep an extensive list of who you're blackmailing and how you're blackmailing them, right? And I'm just going based off of the emails that were released between Michael Wolff and Jeffrey Epstein.
can't answer that. I'm sorry.
You were in your teens. Yeah. And I think this is important for people to understand.
Like, sorry, Jen Psaki asks
Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell or Donald Trump. But because Donald Trump is a person who, of course, owns Mar-a-Lago, I just have to ask if you think he was aware of that arrangement.
So Jen Psaki is basically asking her, do you think Trump knew about this pedophile sex ring?
I don't know if he was aware. Actually, I can't answer that. I'm sorry.
I can't answer that.
Let me ask you something else, because, again, it's much bigger than a couple of people. Were you trafficked to other people?
What do I, can I?
You can say yes, but you don't have to name names.
You
Right.
only share what
Sorry.
you want
Yeah,
to share.
no,
You don't have to be sorry for anything. And I'm asking you this because I think it's important to understand, as people do understand about Virginia's story, that it's not about just one person or two people. It's much bigger than that. You can share whatever you want to share.
Why did they not clear the questions before she went on? This is such a failure by Jen Psaki. It's fucking...
Have about sharing names or specifics, because it is a question a lot of people have out there.
Yeah. It shouldn't fall on the survivor's shoulders.
Sorry. The short story, or the shortest answer is content brain. That's the real answer, content brain. I mean, Jen Psaki doesn't... Listen, if you like Jen Psaki or hate Jen Psaki, she is with MS now. She doesn't give a fuck what happens to any of the survivors. It's all content. What matters is the fucking ratings for her show at this point. Where it's like, yeah, well, I want good ratings for my show. If she says Trump trafficked her, great. That'll do great for my ratings. Like so many of the people that are like news hosts or like in MSNBC or CNN or Fox, God forbid, Fox News, they're there for the clicks. They're there for the views.
I think there's a lot of people that just want them to release the names. They're like, well, you have the names, just do it. The problem with that is that these rich and powerful men they can sue you into homelessness, would be a big part of it, but B, it puts serious threat on your life and your family's life. There were times where my sister was sitting across people and they would push a picture of her own children in front of her and essentially say, I know where your kids go to school. I mean, I alone had own threats on me from Jeffrey Epstein.
People threatening her who had
a lot of money and a lot of power.
Which is why, like, when we talk about Virginia Woolf, from where I'm sitting, I think that there were only two possibilities. One of which was that she was FBI style suicided with, 2 bullets to the back of the head, or that she was threatened for so long that she couldn't take it anymore. Sorry, not Virginia Woolf. Sorry. Virginia Giuffre. I was mixing up Michael Wolff and Virginia Giuffre. Like, the way that I see it is like, those are the only two options. I believe that it's possible that she killed herself, because if you're constantly getting threatened and you're having your family members threatened and you're having your kids threatened, and it becomes not about you anymore. It becomes about everyone in your life being threatened by the most powerful and richest people on the planet. That's a lot to live with.
And I think her memoir does a very good job of giving information without even having to say the names. If you do just a little bit of digging, you can figure out who these people are. But point being is there were still names up until the very end that she couldn't name, because these people they still can come after these survivors, not just with litigation, but the fear of their life for their family and their friends and the people around them. They experience real threats.
And you have kids, I know you're not going to share the names, and I think I wanted to make sure people understood why. Are these people, when the list is released, that people would know? Are they people who are famous in some capacity?
Yes.
Who had a lot of money? He said, I wonder if we had universal wealth equality, would it be harder to manipulate others in this kind of way? It's only almost like people with all of the capital have all of the power in this world. Isn't that bizarre? But yeah, that's I can't believe there are people that are so evil like Megyn Kelly that exist in this world that have no problem just covering this shit up as much as they can. Instead of, wanting the victims to have any recourse at all. Instead of, wanting fucking the pedophiles in the sex ring to get punished for their crimes. with our legal system, like, oh my God. We can't forget Katie Johnson and all of this. It's like, and I don't know the details of these deaths, and I don't know the details. None of us can really know the details without being personally involved with regard to Virginia. But I would imagine it's not so unrealistic, or it wouldn't be so surprising, that if you were a victim that came out and spoke out against this child sex trafficking ring run by a bunch of fucking pedophiles with way too much money, that some of those people who have a strong desire for that list to not become public would go out of their way to basically threaten you and say, we are going to sue you and your entire family into oblivion. You will never have a penny to your name. Your children will never have a penny. No one in your family will ever have a penny. We will destroy the lives of everyone around you if you don't, publicly apologize and recant everything you said. And it's like, do I want my family to suffer, or do I want these pedophiles to stay in power? And sorry, or do I want these pedophiles to stay in power? That's such a difficult decision to make. And I totally see a universe where that was the decision she had to make, and she decided she didn't want to make either of those decisions. It's giving Boeing whistleblowers suddenly being driven to suicide by the stress of testifying. If the option is recant everything so that the pedophiles can stay in power and your family doesn't get impacted by all of our wealth, or we will destroy you and your family if you go through with this. Yes, you'll take down the sex trafficking ring and also everyone that you love. I can understand a universe where you decide, I don't want to make that choice. Boeing straight up killed a guy and no one talks about it anymore. I mean, yeah, it was definitely suicide. Yep. I'm so glad you guys investigated yourselves and found no wrongdoing. Everyone definitely believes you.
You got to wonder why they made the video. They must have been concerned about something, which we'll get to, and we'll get to the video as well. Along with the co-host of our fourth hour, Jonathan Lemire, we have Katty Kay in D.C., and White House correspondent for Reuters, Jeff Mason, is with us here at the table. So let's back up a little bit. President Trump, of course, accusing that group of Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior that he says could be, quote, punishable by death. It's an all-caps claim from the President of the United States, and it comes after the lawmakers, all of whom served in the military or intelligence communities, served this country. They posted this video reminding members of the military to refuse illegal orders.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
And Willie, I thought it was fascinating watching another news channel, chicken hawks, who've never served in the military,
right, of course,
attacking men and women that have served in Iraq, that have served in Afghanistan, that have, I'm sure, lost friends in fighting, that served this country proudly, saying what they all know. You
also literally the world's most liber statement. The world's most liber statement, and replying to it with, it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. And it's the most lukewarm opinion. You don't have to follow orders you find to be illegal.
Can't follow illegal orders. But see how easy this is for Donald Trump? Everybody's talking about Epstein. Everybody's talking about record low poll numbers. And all he has to do is go on Truth Social and just say, kill senators.
Right.
Right? And so all of that, obviously, you can't ignore it when a president says kill senators. They should be hung, sedition, all this stuff. But that is how easy it is for him. Have somebody type it in, send it out, boom. You don't hear about Epstein. You don't hear about affordability. You don't hear about how young people can't get houses. You don't hear about how people can't afford health care insurance, how they can't afford groceries, how they can't afford to live, how they can't afford cars. Go down the list.
It's been a terrible couple of weeks for President Trump for all the reasons you just laid out there, especially with the new polling that he's aware of, Fox News polling this week that shows him deeply underwater on a number of issues. And as you say, he knows if he does this, if he says what he said and wrote what he wrote yesterday, that all of the people who support him on TV, on podcasts, online, and in the halls of Congress will fall in line. Right. What they're all doing, if you listen to the criticism from Republicans, is leaving out the word illegal.
Of course.
So Speaker Mike Johnson said Democrats are encouraging troops to disobey orders.
No,
that's not true.
Just not what was said.
Mikey.
That's not what they said.
No,
and
Mikey.
Speaker Johnson twisting himself in knots
We've gotten used to
yesterday,
this.
saying, well, he's just giving a
The other problem, too, with suggesting that Trump is doing all of this to distract from Epstein is nothing can distract from Epstein because they are the ones who created the fucking beast. They're the ones who did nothing but fearmonger about Epstein for years, talking about how they're going to release the Epstein files. And now that they don't want to because obviously he's in the fucking files. They're like, well, we can just pivot, Smile. It's like, no, you can't, you fucking idiots. You got yourselves into this mess. Also, Foreign Fridays, hi, welcome Raiders, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about this nonsense with fucking Trump being like, yes, we should go after all of the Democrats for seditious behavior, for saying you don't have to do things that are against the law.
literal factual definition of what sedition is and talking about what the punishment might be for that crime.
Now, this
Speaker
was a
Johnson.
guy, I think, I can't remember, was he the one that said that he was going to be ruling by the Bible, what the Bible said?
He is, indeed.
Bible, I guess the Bible said, bear false witness against your brother. Is that what Mike's Bible says? Bear false witness, keep the illegal word out of there, so it means just the opposite
Except the
of
white...
what Mikey knows it means?
And you had Caroline Leavitt from the podium yesterday saying that these Democrats are telling troops that they can betray their oath. No, the call was to uphold the oath
That's
and not
upholding
to
it.
commit illegal acts. Let's listen
Once again, just the opposite. They are literally saying, this is Orwellian, they're literally saying just the opposite of what is true.
Right.
They're lying to the American people. People on other news channels are lying to the American people. They are literally saying, you have to uphold your oath. The White House is saying, no, you don't, by every action that they're saying, and lying about the senators who are saying, this is about upholding your oath.
Here's what both the White House press secretary and Speaker Johnson said yesterday.
Joe, relax, yeah.
Just to be clear.
Well, I mean, the oath is not to the president. We don't live in well, we do, but we don't live in a fucking dictatorship. The oath is to the Constitution. That's what it always has been. Then the Congress people that fucking put out that message, it was the most lukewarm message in the world. It was literally just like, remember, your oath is to the Constitution, not to whatever power-hungry freak is sitting in the president's office. In the Oval Office.
Does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear.
Also, let me just say, that's a total lie. Are you kidding me? If you asked Trump right now, do you have people that you want to execute? Trump would say yes. Trump would immediately say, are you kidding me? Yes. I can think of 20. Please, 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 please. Like, I think some people collectively forgot about this.
Specifically, was he suggesting?
He's going to finally give a direct order to deploy paratroopers into the streets of Washington, D.C., and I'm thinking with weapons and bayonets. And this would be horrible.
What specifically was he suggesting that the U.S. military should do to these protesters?
He says, can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. And he's suggesting that that's what we should do, that we should bring in the troops and shoot the protesters.
The commander-in-chief was suggesting that the U.S. military shoot protesters.
Yes, in the streets
American
of our nation's
protesters.
capital. That's right. He's going to finally give a direct order.
For anyone who missed it, breaking an unearthed video shows former Defense Secretary Esper saying Trump wanted to shoot protesters. Quote, can't you just shoot them? This is why our military needs a reminder about unlawful orders. Share this widely. Like, when we're at the point, it gets to a point, okay? It gets to a point where unfortunately our education system in this country is so bad that you do actually need to remind the people in the military, by the way, your oath, it's to the Constitution. You don't have to do things that are illegal, by the way. I don't know if you know that. You don't have to do that. Here, guys, in case you forgot, this came with your little booklet, in case you guys forgot. Do I have the right to refuse illegal orders? Yes, all members of the military have the right, and in some cases, the duty to refuse illegal orders. Your oath is to the Constitution, not to the commander-in-chief or any other individual in the chain of command. At least part of what I was taught in history class was that part of the reason why the oath not being a personal oath is important because people like Hitler extracted personal oaths to get armies to commit atrocities on their behalf. Yeah, because you shouldn't have the ability to say, well, I was following orders. We've done so much. You can't just call everyone a fascist, that it's still the default position when the fascists are loudly announcing their fascist intent. Smartest country on earth. Yeah. Well, it's you accuse the other side of doing what you're doing, and then you say that you're not doing what you're doing. That's it. It's very simple. Because they don't actually believe in any of the things that they say. Rubber glue, first grade shit. Yes. This is a lib fantasy, though. Please tell me. Please do tell. What is the lib fantasy here? No, I'm saying it's lib to think people will refuse orders from commanders in a lot of cases. Let me just pull this up really quickly. One sec. No, it's not this. Wait. Where is it? I have to find the actual thing. Let me try and find it, and then I'll get back to you. I have to find like the actual like source for what I want to bring up before I bring it up. And then we can get back to you, okay? They just tried to make swastikas and nooses okay in the Coast Guard. Don't even get me, dude. Don't even get me started. Coast Guard reverses course on policy to call swastikas and nooses potentially divisive. Uh-huh. Okay. I see. potentially divisive about swastikas. What more is there to say? Really, genuinely. Let's let Karen Levitt take it away.
What the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country, and if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous.
It's very dangerous to tell people that they shouldn't just listen to the Burger Reich and instead should uphold the Constitution. That's crazy work.
Message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
What I read was he was defining the crime of sedition. Okay, I don't. That is a factual statement, but obviously attorneys have to parse the language and determine all that. What I'm saying, what I will say unequivocally, is that was a wildly inappropriate thing for so-called leaders in Congress to do, to encourage young troops to disobey orders. I mean, think of what the threat that is to our national security and what it means to our institutions. We have got to raise the bar in Congress. This is out of control and is wildly inappropriate. And for a senator like Mark Kelly or any member of Congress in the House or Senate to be engaging in that kind of talk is to me just so beyond the pale.
So you know, he lies so pretty.
It's too much.
He lies so
easy.
pretty. I mean, it's too easy for him to lie.
Clutching the pearls.
Clutching the pearls.
Yep.
The fainting couch. You know, it was very rude of those press members to be standing all around. He had a fainting couch. Yeah. It was beautiful, beautiful pink satin fainting couch with all the frills. He was going to just flop over. I tell you, you know, he was so shocked and stunned.
Here, sorry, to this chatter. This is what I was looking for. I was looking for this exact line. Not this one, although you're also spitting and I was going to bring you up later. I'm saying it's lived to think people will refuse orders from commanders in a lot of cases. The reason why I kind of rolled my eyes at that is because we literally have the 2024 attempted coup in South Korea as evidence that this is not true. Like, just because a lot of the people who join the military are from underprivileged backgrounds and that's why they join because they can't afford higher education or they can't afford like trade school or whatever, it doesn't mean that they expect to be killing their fellow Americans. Like there's a very big jump from there. Like even the smallest level of insubordination can be seen with in the case of South Korea. Material poverty is not moral poverty. Yeah. DCC martial law troops assigned to raid the NEC training center in Suwon questioned their deployment orders, and they delayed their arrival by slowing their pace or pulling off at rest stops. On December 9th, Rep. Lee released a report stating that DCC Brigadier General assaulted a major for questioning deployment ordered and forced him on a bus to seize the NEC servers. He also highlighted that some troops wasted time after arriving at the NEC by eating ramyun at a nearby convenience store after judging their deployment orders to be illegal. Can you imagine? Like, you and a bunch of other guys just looking at each other like, bro, I'm pretty sure this shit's not legal. I don't think this shit's legal. And everyone else is like, yeah, I don't think this is legal. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just like fuck off and go eat some food at the convenience store. No, we would love to do whatever you want us to do. And it's not that we think it's illegal what you're doing. We're just really hungry and you want us to be at our best energy. Oh, we totally forgot. We're also thirsty. We're going to need another hour to go get some drinks. We need a little nappy. We're going to take a little nappy. You know, we're definitely not dragging our feet because we know that these orders are illegal. Like, the idea that individuals won't stand up and be like, I'm not going to go fucking kill a bunch of Americans. Like, I'm not going to fucking do that. It's It incorrectly identifies the problem within the military. And the problem within the military is that it preys on people who are poor. And it preys on people who otherwise don't have a way to improve their living conditions. And that's why they join the military. Most people who join the military in the United States don't, like, in this day and age, don't think like, I want to go die for I want to go die for Israel. No, they think I don't have a way out of poverty. Everyone in my family goes to the military to escape poverty, or my buddies know this, or like, I didn't do well in school. This is the only way I'm going to get out of this shithole, or like get out of this fucking life. It's a poverty draft. Aaron Bushnell? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of pieces of shit that join the military. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always said this. My respect for a person is going to be based on their character and not based on anything else. I will respect veterans who are, you know, of genuine character, of good character. I don't respect the veterans that went to other countries and raped random fucking women and committed atrocities overseas because they knew they weren't going to get in trouble. You being a veteran means nothing in that context. You used your power to negatively impact other people for your personal gain and pleasure. That's very different from a veteran who's joining the military as a poverty draft because they don't have another mean to getting out of this fucking shithole country, out of this shithole system, right? I judge people based on the character, the content of their character. Wars always relied on exploiting the vulnerable people. But yeah. Also, a lot of Hispanic veterans have joined to get papers for their families. It's genuinely sad. Well, yeah, again, it's like people want to protect themselves and they want to protect their families, and they see the military as a means to do that. Do I think every single person in the military will stand up against Trump? No, of course not, right? I don't think that. Obviously not. There's a bunch of Trumpers in the military. Of course, those people will follow him to the ends of the earth. But I think, and I don't think it is unreasonable to assume that there are people who aren't going to listen to every single order when it goes against their own values. The military pitches it as a benefit. I'm not saying, and I'm also not saying that it's like common. I do think that type of behavior is rare, but I think as the atrocity gets bigger and bigger, and as the ask gets bigger and bigger, people will say no. I think you're right. People do need examples of bravery. Yeah. The what gets the ask, A-S-K. U.S. military largest jobs program in the United States. Walmart is number 2. Yeah. I think also something that gets discounted a lot is that I think the American military and the American military complex can easily get Americans to kill people overseas because they're terrorists. Don't worry about it. And it's easy to, like, not in my backyard, like out of sight, out of mind. I think there is a big step. There's a big jump from something overseas that you can easily, like, ignore or forget and pretend like it isn't happening, and something happening on U.S. soil. Like, it's a lot harder to abstract that and be like, yep, all these people who look like everyday Americans, who are everyday Americans, these are all traitors and we need to round them all up. That's a much bigger step. Right? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Pull this up. Let's get back to this.
People are lying through their teeth. These people are lying through their teeth.
He didn't say it. It was just half.
It was like
Good
it
catch.
was like
Good.
Joe Biden when he said fat.
just
So anyway,
can't do that.
These people are lying through
But they
their
are.
teeth. Mike Johnson knows that this is all about what military men and women need to do to uphold their sacred oath, and that is not commit illegal actions. And they know that, and yet they keep lying.
I don't think poverty draft is a valid excuse for joining the military. Not what I was saying. That's a different point. Whether or not it's valid is completely different. The point that I'm making is that the type of character of someone who joins for their personal benefit versus the type of person who's ready to die for their country so they can kill as many terrorists as possible, those are different people fundamentally. And one of those people is there to get a paycheck, and the other one is ready to commit as many war crimes as asked. Like, they're excited to commit like, straight up, dude, that one TED Talk with Adam Driver in it, talking about like the Iraq war and how excited he was and how he wanted to kill brown kids so bad. It was like, what do you mean by that? What the fuck? Distinction without a difference. They all do the same job. Wrong. I'm saying that one of those, I think, one of these groups is way more likely to listen to whatever order they get because they believe so fundamentally in the system. They think that the system is working perfectly and they want to join to serve this system that they think works correctly. The other party thinks this system sucks, but this is the only way I can get out of poverty. They question the system inherently. I'm saying that these are different and these people will act differently. Well, anyways, I already explained my point. I'm just going to talk in circles at this point, showing examples of people disobeying the military over and over again. So,
lying through their teeth
and running through the halls, John, without criticism for this president. You heard Lindsey Graham briefly say, no, they shouldn't be hanged. Okay, great, we've established that. But immediately going to the criticism of these Democratic members, calling again not to disobey illegal acts.
It's willful ignorance, and I mean, it's obviously an extraordinarily serious moment. The President of the United States calling for the execution of lawmakers. But Joe nailed it. This is what we've seen, this precise playbook before. Remember when President Trump called for President Obama to be arrested on treason charges? That was the summer when the Epstein story blew up the first time.
Yeah.
This is exactly the playbook to distract. Let's talk about something else, anything else from what's going on with Epstein first and foremost, but also things in the economy. But it is an interesting point because this is a moment that there are service members who are wrestling with this exact question, is whether or not the orders I've been given are legal. And yes, it may come that way on American streets. It's already happening now in the waters of the Caribbean. We have had a high-ranking admiral walk away and resign because of concerns about the boat strikes that the U.S. is conducting off of Venezuela, and the White House really providing next to no legal justification for any of this. They're trying to do more now, but for the President of the United States, we've seen this so many times in his first term as well, where he feels like he's cornered and he's lashing out, trying to drive the news cycle
What could be
any
so
other
upsetting?
way.
I'm just curious. I mean, what would be so upsetting to cause this behavior?
Well, he's trying to distract.
Yeah.
Just
But
trying to
from
distract.
what? Like what? What?
I mean, just trying to distract. You know, the thing is,
Crazy behavior?
it always has to be the debate. We've always said this. President Trump's great keeping the debate on his ground. So before the Epstein files blew up, it was about crime. And then Epstein got him off of crime. And then the government shut down, got him off of crime. And so they were debating health care instead of crime. And of course, Republicans always lose when you debate health care instead of crime. The numbers are historically low numbers. So what does he do? He accuses Democrats of sedition and says that they should be hung. I mean, and so that's what we're talking about today. We're not talking about Donald Trump's record low approval ratings. We're not talking about the fact that Democrats are ahead by 14 points, 13, 14 points. We're not talking about all of the stupid things that his Department of Justice has done just this past week.
Or Health and Human Services.
Whether regarding Comey or whether it was Texas redistricting, where they may have cost Republicans 5 seats. So he just snaps this out, and everybody's going to follow this for a day or two and stop talking about the things that, again, show.
Which is not true, by the way. Like, people are going to still keep talking about it. They're still talking about it now while this is happening. The point is refusing orders won't happen systemically. It'll be individuals that are going to be made examples out of. What do you mean by systemically here? What would that look like to you? It won't be a majority. It'll be individuals who will get made examples out of. It's in their training element. I disagree. Distinction without a difference. They all do the same job. And I obviously already disagreed. I'm looking for systemic examples, not individuals. I never argued that individuals don't disobey order. It's just not going to happen on a mass scale in any way, shape, or form. I mean, sorry. This is sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the same rhetoric that has been used by Fox News to get people to not vote by saying your vote doesn't matter, so don't vote, and that's why people don't vote in this country. And it's the same thing happening here. It's like, which is what I said. I think when you cross too many lines in a row, then you'll get a lot of people that are not okay with it. If you had the president telling a bunch of soldiers just straight up just take out some machine guns and shoot all of these protesters and kill all of them, I think some people would be down. I think some pieces of shit hogs would be down. And I think most other people are going to say, okay, I'm down for tear gassing. I'm down for beating the shit out of them. I'm down for rubber bullets straight to the forehead. Mass slaughtering? I don't know, man. And then for someone to link you and show you examples of people disobeying, people stepping down, and then ignoring it. It's like, and then just saying, well, these are all individuals. These are all individuals. This would never happen on a big scale. I disagree. People said a socialist would never win New York. I disagree. I don't agree. But this is a good article. Adam Driver verbatim said he's excited to kill brown kids. I can't see anything on that. No, he was excited about the Iraq war and excited to serve his country, even though the war was built on a false premise to begin with. And that if you are so excited to serve your country, and that means doing anything, including brown kids, you don't actually care about any of those people. He might have been less excited, maybe, if it was Americans, but given his proclivity for, I mean, man, was he cast well. Man, was he cast well. But no, there is not a direct quote. Sorry that my hyperbole was read as a direct quote. I apologize. I shall never do hyperbole ever again. Please forgive me for this sin, just this once. What does it take for a man like Staff Sergeant Michael Butler, 24-year-old veteran of the Army and Reserve who was a soldier in the First Persian Gulf War and a reserve called up to fight in the current war in Iraq, to risk everything by disobeying orders during disobeying a direct order in wartime? In the morning of October 13th, the military says Sergeant Butler and most of his platoon, some 18 men and women from the 343rd Quartermaster Company, refused to deliver a shipment of fuel from the Talil Air Base near Nasiriyah, Iraq, to another air base much farther north. It's like these things are going to be smaller, obviously, yeah, right? Like, of course, because it's like the Middle East, people can close their eyes and pretend like it's not happening and pretend like all those people are terrorists. And this was rare during the Iraq period. This was rare. And this is just like, I mean, the article continues and continues and continues. But also, even just the number of senior military officers that have stepped down. Here we go. Like this stuff. 3-star general. And this has been happening since the beginning of Trump's presidency. This is from October 30th, 2025. 3-star general retiring after reported friction with Hegseth. Why did he depart? Why was there a departure? Why did he retire? McGee objected to Hegseth and Kane on a range of issues, including the Trump administration's strikes against alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and the Russia-Ukraine war. Southcom general just resigned over the boat strikes. Not to mention, like, this is a great piece. Hegseth ultimatum to generals sparks fear of departures. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, my way or the highway message to hundreds of generals and admirals at a summit in Virginia last week has sparked fears that some of the top leaders may choose to bow out of the U.S. military entirely. The departure of 2 senior leaders last week stoked these worries, though the Pentagon says that they were unrelated to Hegseth's ultimatum. His speech directly attacked the values of many of the senior officers and enlisted members in the audience. I would expect many of them to demonstrate their disgust by retiring. You have to understand also, for every general that retires because they don't like this, there's another like 10 that don't retire, but hold on to their disgust. And what do you think all of their, not subjects, not inferiors, the opposite of subordinates, there we go. What do you think all of the subordinates of these generals think? Listen, I only have my personal life experience to go on this one, okay? That is to say, I'll shorten this story as much as I can. I was in a guild. And let me just say that the guild master was a bit Trumpian. Okay? And in my guild, I was a raid leader. This is all factually true. All of this is factually true. And I was, dare I say, a pretty decent raid leader. I took a group of 11 people, 12 myself included, most of the time 10 because we had to get subs in. And they were so ass. My God, they were so ass. And they couldn't beat a single boss. It was so bad. It was so brutal. And you know what I did? What game? Blade and Soul. Never play it. I did not play WoW. WoW was too ugly. And then I took these people and I fucking whipped them into shape, dude. I whipped them into shape. We were raid group B, which the B stand for butt because we were ass. And let me tell you, at the end of many, many raid practice sessions, we eventually were able to beat the easy raid. After many sessions of, so guys, you see the big red circle? Okay, we don't stand in that. Got it? Does everyone got it? Go through each person by name. You got it? You got it? Okay. We go in again. Someone fucks it up. Hey, so I saw, like, I'm just going to repeat this again. So the big red circle. We don't step in that. Got it? All right. Excellent. All right, let's try it again. And just that, every Wednesday for 3 hours. 3 hours a week, every Wednesday. Of just don't stand in the red circle, guys. You got it? Okay, got it. They do it again. Okay, that's okay, guys. Don't worry, guys. We'll see you next week. Maybe we'll beat one of these bosses. Don't worry. And eventually, we beat the first dungeon. We did it. It took a lot of effort, but we did it. And we were finally on par with the other raid group. And we were finally somewhat respectable in the other raid group. Because I would have joined the first raid group, but there wasn't enough space. It was already full. So I was like, well, I got to take these meatheads and put something together. And there were like 3 MVPs, I just want to say, that always did their job perfectly. Let me just say that. Let me just say that really quickly. But a lot of people, just moths to a flame. God damn these people. And then we moved on to the higher tier raid. The difficult raid. And this raid, not even raid group A could beat this raid. They couldn't even beat the first boss for this raid because it was quite mechanically difficult. And guess what? 3-hour practice. Every day on Wednesday they knew. Every Wednesday they knew 3-hour practice. It was like, come on guys, tune in. All right, let's go. Remember, don't stand next to the person with the stacks. All right, we got it? All right, we got it. Stands next to person with stacks. Okay, guys, remember, you don't stand to the person next to the person with the stacks. You got it? You got it. All right, guys, we'll see you next Wednesday. And eventually, we beat the raid boss. We did it. We fucking beat it. And we beat it. My people beat it before raid group A. And let me say, all of this is for one reason. So I'm going over this whole story for a reason. 0 to hero, yes. To the point where some raid group A individuals were like, hey, so we still haven't beat it. Can we get a sub in? I need the drop for that really bad. And we can't fucking beat this goddamn fucking boss. I'll check the schedule. I'll let you know. Let you know if we get a spot. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we get a spot for you. And so, eventually I had enough. And I was like, it's like the guild leader was just so brutal at certain times. Just the ego on this person was crazy. We're still friends today. You know, they've improved. But they had such a bad ego when they were a guild leader. Oh my God. And eventually I was like, guys, I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving this guild. I gotta go. I can't handle this guild leader anymore. The ego on this guy is too brutal for me. I'm dipping. I recruited one warlock and I was like, I'm taking this warlock with me because I brought them into the raid or into the guild. I recruited them. They were guildless and I gave them this guild, so I'm allowed to take them. To the rest of my raid group, you guys have been great. I appreciate you all coming with me on this journey, but I will be leaving. So, yes, thank you everybody for joining me on our year-long journey trying to beat these raids. Thank you. And do you know what happened? Almost every single person who was in my raid group left that guild and came to the guild that I left to. I'm not capping. I'm not capping. Straight up. Total real story. I haven't heard this. And I told them, I was like, guys, I actually like, I'm telling you to please stay because I don't want to come off as poaching. Like, I don't want to come off as poaching. You guys should stay in this guild if you like this guild and you like the people in it. And they were like, yeah, but we can't even be like, what's the point? Like, because we agree with you. The guild leader's ego's crazy and he's kind of annoying about all this shit. We'll just come with you. You do okay. It's like, damn, for real? Really? It's really nice of you guys. But you have to make it clear to the guild leader that I did not poach you and that I told you to stay. And they came with me. They came with me. And then the guild fell apart. And then the rest of the guild either broke up or also joined the new guild that I went to. And that was quite the adventure. That was quite the adventure. That is, all of that is to say, people follow leaders that they believe in. People follow leaders that they believe in, and they follow people that they believe in. And when you have a bunch of generals being like, I'm not going to follow these fucking orders. I disagree with you completely. What do you think all the subordinates see? What do you think everyone who believes in that person on any level sees? They see, oh, well, I'm with you. As far as I'm concerned, who the fuck is Pete Hegseth? You've been with me through thick and thin. You've helped me so much X, Y, and Z ways. If you say that this is this and this is that, I believe you. You are actually competent. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think that there are individuals that will dissent, and I think that there are people that will follow the individuals who dissent. That's just my opinion. Good analogy. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. That's my only opinion. I don't think everyone is going to. I think there are plenty of people that are going to just do whatever the fuck Trump says because they don't give a shit. I totally believe that. And I even said, which is confusing why you're bringing up this point, which is frog boiling analogy. If it happens incrementally, they won't realize. I mean, two things. One, I said this, which is there's a massive jump from killing brown kids overseas to killing your fellow Americans because, like, the Burger Reich said so. I think, and given Trumpian politics, given how Trump has always taken the fucking heat and set it to max every single time, that's the only thing he knows how to do. Just put everything on high always. He doesn't know how to slowly move the fucking dial. I think the same thing will happen here. Anyways, that's my opinion. A lot of degrees of separation between the lowest and enlisted general. Enlisted don't respect each a lot, and the officer corp just speaking anecdotally as a vet, though. Yeah, but I'm sure that there are people that absolutely do believe in their superiors. Or there are people at least who believe in their fellow veterans or fellow military men, right? I don't think that the people who served with Aaron Bushnell saw that and were like, look at this fucking idiot. Probably a lot of them saw him with a great deal of respect and saw his conviction And that swayed at least a good number of men that he ran into in his time in the military. Right? It's just that these things come to a point. Okay, continuing.
How weakened the Republican Party's position is right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic Steve Bannon flood the zone idea, right? That you throw out so many things that people can't focus on one thing, and you use one excessive news headline to bury something else. The thing is, for the Republicans at the moment, is that ordinary voters clearly are focused on one thing and one thing overall, and they keep telling it to pollsters, and they keep telling it every time they have the opportunity to vote in a ballot box. They're worried about prices. And we may spend a morning, as we should, because it's extraordinary for a president to suggest that members of Congress should be hung and sent to their deaths. But that is not what people around the country who are figuring out how to vote, if there was a vote coming up next week or even next year's midterms, that's not what they're thinking about. They're thinking about, how do I pay for my turkey? How much are my sweet potatoes going to cost? How am I going to pay for the cost of my kids to come and travel to see me for Thanksgiving? And this will blur because we live in this frenetic news cycle. We all know around this table that by next week there will be something else that we're talking about. And the week after that, there will be something else that we're talking about. And those news spikes, we will talk about them because they are news and because Donald Trump makes news. But underneath all of that is the reality for American voters that things cost too much money and they're not loving what they're seeing, and their opinion of the president of the White House at the moment is not great.
And the Republicans are in charge.
So Jeff, tell us what's going on here and what you think happens next.
Well, I think, number one, it's worth talking about this in the context of political rhetoric. It wasn't that long ago that everyone was up in arms, quite rightly, about the execution of Charlie Kirk. And now the discussion of political rhetoric allows the president to use his platform and his bully pulpit to say things like this about members of Congress. I also think it's worth remembering what happened on January 6th, when the same kind of rhetoric that the president used then when talking about overturning the results of a lawful election led to some of his supporters to build a gallows on the grounds of Capitol Hill.
What did I say? Stop pre-watching my content, MS Now. Fuck you.
Or with the intention of sending a message to Vice President Mike Pence. So words have actions. The president knows that words have actions. One of those actions is quite rightly what you're saying is the distraction that comes from throwing things out like this. But it's more than just words. It's very dangerous words that his people may act upon.
Yeah, and
some of these members have security because of exactly what we're talking about here.
Well, yeah. I mean, you say this, and then you have Slotkin, who has to have around-the-clock security now because these things are being said. Again, all to distract. And General, I'd love to end on you and get your final thoughts and what we should be looking for as we move forward today.
Well, two things, Joe. As anyone who says this is wildly bizarre that these congressmen say this, I would say that it must be wildly bizarre that drill sergeants say it every day to new recruits, that it's passed along year after year in law of land warfare classes to make sure soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines don't obey unlawful orders. And I'd just say one last thing, if I could clarify and help everybody remember. No one in the American military swears allegiance to any individual. The oaths are not pledges of loyalty to a party, a personality, or a political movement. Loyalty is pledged to the Constitution. And officers, when they take their oath, take that pledge one step further by saying, without mental reservation. They know full well what they're being asked to do, and it may require them to stand up with courage against any unlawful authority, to stand between them and the people that they serve, not only the American public, but the soldiers that are under their command. It's critically important. It's driven hard into every single person that wears the uniform. And I personally have taken that oath hundreds of times, and it's the most beautiful kind of vow that you take as part of a professional ethos.
Most beautiful vow, his wife like, okay, bitch.
Wow. Retired Army Lieutenant General Mark Herdling, thank you so much for coming on this morning. He's the author of the forthcoming book entitled If I Don't Return, A Father's Wartime Journal. And still ahead on Morning.
Okay. Milgram experiment is scary since there's too many people who follow orders, mainly authoritarian personalities, but it looks like there are a lot of those here in the US. Yeah, but sorry. The problem that I have with the the Milgram experiment is the sample size and the sample that was collected. The sample bias. Because I think if you put enough underprivileged people there, and we already have research that shows the richer you get, the less empathy you have as a person. So the problem that I have with the Milgram experiment is the people that were selected. And there wasn't a lot of variety in the people that were selected. That's all. I would love to see it redone with, maybe a different sample, maybe a little bit more variety there. Not to DEI, not to woke it up too much. But this has been a common criticism that a lot of people have had about the Milgram experiment. But okay. All right. I wanted to show all of you this. I don't know how many of you saw this shit. The Washington Post reported the U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify the swastika, nooses, and Confederate flag as hate symbols. The military service drafted a new policy, and then it continues, and Homeland Security's official Twitter saying, y'all are just making things up now. Want to be super clear here, the Washington Post has literally has the draft documents from the government. The government did not deny the change when asked. This is 100% true. You can download the documents. The Trump administration does not view the swastikas as hate symbols. We've all known that, the Fox News response to all criticism is always just lie, deny, while you're actively doing this shit. But it's still crazy that it's real. It's still a little bit insane that it's real. Can confirm you can download those documents. I downloaded them last night and read through them. Who could have thought, man, I can't believe we just call everyone a Nazi today. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe we call everyone a Nazi. Oh my God. But don't worry, guys. Listen, we might be fucked politically, but surely we're not fucked financially. Right?
America is currently going through a bit of a car repossession boom. Delinquent auto debt over 60 days past due is at the highest level it has ever been, including during the global financial crisis. More repossessions than ever have taken place within the last quarter, and even if you don't personally have a car loan, this could still become a systemic issue that impacts you because auto debt as a whole is higher than it has ever been before. This record debt has also combined with record levels of depreciation to result in massive negative equity for more borrowers, making it harder than ever to back out of these deals, especially on certain classes of vehicles. Now, that sounds pretty bad just on the surface, but it gets worse. Several reports have found that we have slowly made auto lending so complicated and fragmented that between leases, lending, buy here, pay here, cross-collateralized loans, and every other type of way to finance a car, it's become next to impossible to track down how much we really owe and how much is actually being paid back. Even the regulators themselves have basically admitted that they don't really know how bad the problem is and how much this could all hurt regular consumers. Now, I know this all sounds like yet another symptom of people's personal finances being squeezed, which is, by itself, not exactly that shocking anymore. However, the current repossession boom is, for now at least, a specifically American problem. A problem that is saying a lot of bad things about the unique ways that we borrow, consume, and go broke.
And I don't know, I just feel like a $500 plus car note is absurd.
Record number of Americans are falling behind on their car payment.
I have $60,000 worth of car debt.
Those loans coming with higher interest rates for buyers with limited income or credit scores.
The more concerning part, the interest rate being 37% nearly.
Well, the repo man is in high demand. They're working overtime.
It is draining us. It is taking things away from my children.
According to the Recovery Database Network, car repossessions hit a 14-year high in 2024, only slightly behind their peak in 2009. We have already passed that peak this year, and we still have a few months to go. This is especially concerning because consumer protection laws around repossessions have generally gotten stronger since the global financial crisis, which means the same number of repossessions is an indication that borrowers are in an even worse financial situation. Today, repossessions have become such a large industry that it's even attracted the tech bros to skirt around regulations. Some of the old tricks, like impersonating a Target with their utility providers to get their address, have been specifically outlawed. So today, repo men take a different approach. Companies like Resolvion and DRN have emerged to fill that gap by creating their own lists. Their business works by driving around camera cars that indiscriminately photograph every license plate they can, including those in private parking lots, and then assigning GPS coordinates to them to build out a database. What this does is let repo men access this—
That's so good! That's so good! I'm so glad that the car repossession industry is booming. You know, I'm always like, damn, all these industries are failing right now. Surely some are booming. Oh my God. Yeah, this feels illegal. This feels illegal. I'm also, can we just go back for just one second to the previous conversation? I don't even know how it didn't even fucking cross my mind for one moment to the chatter here who's saying like the chatter were talking about what examples regarding people disobeying military orders. I don't even know how it did. I fucking totally forgot. Dapper Cat. For every Kent state, there's a Vietnam fragging. People were killing their superior officers in Vietnam. What are we talking about? We don't have to speculate. There were 800 plus cases of people fragging their superior officers in Vietnam. IMO, that's a measuring stick of how things shake out when morale bottoms out. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to fragging, talking about this phenomenon and specifically highlighting Vietnam. The first known incidents of fragging in South Vietnam took place in 1966, but events in 1968 appeared to have catalyzed an increase in fragging. And it describes earlier, like, fragging is the deliberate or attempted killing of a soldier, usually a superior, by a fellow U.S. soldier. U.S. military personnel coined the word during Vietnam War, when such killings were often committed or attempted with a fragmentation grenade to make it appear that the killing was accidental or during combat with the enemy. The term fragging now encompasses any deliberate killing of military colleagues. And then it describes here, with troops reluctant to risk their lives in what was perceived as a lost war, fragging was seen by some enlisted men as the most effective way to discourage their superiors from showing enthusiasm for combat. Okay, but who is top fragging? Shut the fuck up. Like, when people disagree fundamentally, and obviously, especially in this case where people's personal lives were when their own lives were at risk, you know, even a worm will turn. At some point, people will go to extreme measures to say, actually, no. Actually, no, Omega Lol. I will not follow those orders. Fuck you. Actually, fuck you. No. Demographics will be different, but the principle is the same. I mean, so Vietnam was like Tarkov? No. Tarkov is like Vietnam. There's a guy in the building. There's a guy in the building. Where is he? Where is he? He's in customs. He's in dorms. Oh my God. I think he's right next to you. I think he's right. I'm going to nade him. I'm going to nade him. Bro, that was me. Bro, you just killed me. There was no one else. It was me. Oh. My bad. Don't worry, I'll loot your body. Calls coming from inside the house. Oh my god. All right, sorry. Okay, now we can move on. We can move on now. Thank you for bringing that up, Dappercat.
Database for a fee so that they can get a list of known locations for a specific registration number. Now, not to go too much down this specific rabbit hole, but some of these companies now work off a gig economy model, because of course they do. They onboard affiliate drivers who attach their camera packs to their own cars and then pay them a commission for every repossession that comes from the data they collect. For a lot of people, this is either an alternative or a supplemental revenue.
That's so good. That's so good.
News source to driving for Uber that happens a lot more passively in the background. Now, this kind of involuntary databaserization would be bad enough by itself, but you might think, unless you've been skipping your car payments, you don't really have anything to worry about, right? Well, a report by Wired found that these cameras were also collecting and cross-referencing information like politically affiliating lawn signs, bumper stickers, and t-shirts. This let them highlight areas and even individuals with stronger support for certain ideas than others. Now, the companies have claimed that this is just another way for them to earn revenue. It's information that they are collecting from public spaces, and it's not their fault if they are just better at arranging it into databases that can be sold off to political campaigns or marketing agencies. Anyway, with that tangent out of the way, what is really funding this data collection right now, though, is car repossessions, and business is booming for 3 simple reasons. The first is the hangover from the price boom of 2021. During this time, new and used car prices both hit their highest levels ever. Supply chains were disrupted, and people had a lot of extra spending power thanks to government stimulus, and also because other expenditures like vacations and eating out were canceled. Interest rates were also very low, which all made it easy to get a big loan and pay $30,000 over sticker price for a used Toyota Tacoma. Today, record loan sizes have mixed with record rates of depreciation to give some all too predictable results. According to Edmunds, the average amount of negative equity in cars and trucks climbed to an all-time high last quarter. Now, so far, the one saving grace has been that prices are still higher than they were before 2020, but that has all resulted in fewer people trading in their cars because they are being forced to hold onto it longer. Now, on a personal finance level, this can actually be a good thing. You don't need to buy a new car every 3 years. But let's be honest with each other here. I
will say my most boomer take is like, is this street legal for me to say this? I do think American consumer culture is at the root of a lot of the negative issues in this country. And like the need to have the newest, most expensive stuff kind of destroyed this country for a very long time. Now, to be clear, I think it was all manufactured. To be very clear. It's like, here's all this stuff you don't need. Buy. So I think that's the case. I do think that. But one, I feel like maybe it's just the people that I know. The majority of people I know, they don't get a new phone for like at least 5 years at a time. And a lot of people I know don't get a new car for at least 5 years at a time, which I feel like is good. Also, even just like on a purely selfish front, the upgrade feels better when you wait a longer period of time. Like when you don't buy a new phone for like 5, 6, 7 years, which I've done, when you do upgrade, you're like, dude, this is so much better. Whereas when you buy it every year, it's like, stop with the 6-7 meme. I hate the 6-7 meme. I hate it. It's so stupid. I've hated it more than any other meme. The only meme that is as bad to me as 6-7 is the do you know the way meme. Sorry to give anyone war flashbacks. Bro, you walked right into that one. I know. Anyways, what was I saying? Fucking whatever. Sorry, that just like it's caused me so much distress. This caused me seeing the 6-7 caused me so much distress. Moving on. When you do upgrade like every year, you just don't even notice the difference. Like I've had friends that like swap from taking photos from with like the newest iPhone for the most recent iPhone before that. And it's like, I don't see a difference. They're like, look at how much better it is. I'm like, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I noticed, but I'm a fucking nerd. That's fair.
Aren't holding onto their cars because they have suddenly become more conscious consumers.
And also, I'm going to go further. There was a period of time, I don't know if it's been fixed yet, where newer cars were just worse because they've removed all the little nice little knobs and dials on the car, on the dashboard of the car, and it's all just a fucking touchscreen. And now, as someone who's been driving, as someone who can drive, who's been driving for over a year, fucking California ruined me, made me into a fucking car sell fucking loser. But whatever. I appreciate the knobs so much. The little doohickeys, the little buttons, the tactile feel. Oh my God. It's so nice. Like older cars are so much nicer to drive because it's like, you want to like make the AC colder. You don't even have to look. You don't have to look at all because you know where it is. And then you just like can turn the little knob. You know, you can press all the little buttons. Everything computer now. Oh, I hate the because don't get me wrong, I'm not against a touchpad in a computer, or sorry, in a computer in a car. For GPS, I think it's great, you know, or for music, if you want. But it should also have all the little knobs. Give me my little knobs. Give me my little buttons. I want my little buttons and my little knobs for my things. I don't want everything computer. Why? Why everything computer? So that's it. That is my one boomer take. That's my one boomer take. I'm allowed one. Okay? Every year you get older, you're allowed one more boomer take legally. And I know opinions can't be right or wrong, but this opinion is right. All right, let me just say this opinion is just right. And if you want to have AC that you control with the touchpad, then put that in the touchpad, but give me my little knob. You can do both. You can do both. We can have both the little AC knob and you can do it with the touchpad if you really like the touchpad. But I was tweeting about this on my alt account, but every once in a while, a new clip will show up on my fucking timeline of a streamer driving like a reckless freak. And I just have to say, like, that shit is insane. Like, that shit's so crazy. Touchpad steering wheel coming soon. This stuff, I don't even know if this clip is still even available. Yeah, I think it's gone. It's probably got taken down because it was so bad. But there was a clip of this streamer, and I'm not joking. She was staring at her phone for like 15 seconds straight. While she was in go. Okay? She was not at a red light. You know, if you're just like an asshole and you make other people have to honk because you sit at the red light, you're just an asshole. That's fine. I can deal with that, okay? From New York, I can deal with assholes. You're just like, la 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 la. Ooh, chat said I'm driving. Like, oh my God. It's so terrifying. Her statement was terrible too. Dude, I have no, like, I'm laughing because it's so it's like such a traumatic experience to even watch the clip.
I feel like I should pick up food, but like, oh, you know what? I can make ramen. That's fine. I'll make ramen. That'll be it. Okay, what is it again? Where's it at? Where's it at? Can you post it again?
It seemed like she was at a red light looking at her phone. I can deal with assholes that look at their phone or, you know, make other people honk at them at a red light. That's fine with me. Sometimes it's urgent, you know? You don't know what someone is looking at. Sometimes it's just urgent. I have gotten urgent text while I'm driving. I've definitely looked, I don't type, but I've looked at it while I'm, stopped at a red light. But you're not going to hit anyone. You're not going to cause any harm to anyone just being annoying. When the car is moving, when the car is moving. Girl, look, please. Girl, look at the...
I just hit a car.
No way. No way. And let me just say, maybe it's just that I haven't been driving for super long. I'm a newer driver, okay? Compared to other people that have been driving for like a decade since they were 15 because they have to drive themselves to school because we live in a shithole country with no fucking public transport. When I have to just look at the GPS, I'm panicking, okay? I'm like driving on the freeway and I just have to see what exit I'm getting off on and I'm like, okay, I think it said exit 3B. Let me just double check. Yeah, 3B. Okay, like that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I don't care if it's the most pussy shit in the world. I don't care if I'm gonna be a pussy driver for the rest of my life. I'm fine. I'll be a pussy driver forever. That's totally okay with me. That's totally okay with me. Staring at your phone is crazy. It's crazy. That's like actually crazy. I have no words. Like that's so insane. I how are you not stressed? How are you not stressed? How are you not stressed? I'm stressed. I'm stressed for you. Oh my God. I see it all the time on the road here in Denver. Dude. Yeah, anyways. I literally can't. I can't. I forgot to share this with you guys.
I've been recently told, what I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it.
It's Mark Epstein on the phone on a news network saying that the reason that they've decided to flip and release the files is because they're actively currently scrubbing the files and redacting anything that has these people's names in it, which is true. I'm sorry to be the one to say it. Unless something fundamentally like changes overnight in this country, we will not ever see the real files. We won't. We won't see a substantial unredacted. I mean, I think everybody already knows this. I don't think I'm like, breaking the news to anyone. This is pretty, it's a matter of national security that we can't release the names of these pedophiles. But this is pretty funny. It's all redacted. And then it says at the bottom, P.S. Donald Trump did not fuck Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to see. Now that I believe. That I believed. That I believe. Also, some people were bringing up the Mamdani Trump meeting today, but I didn't think it was going to be televised. I could be mistaken, but from my understanding, they're not. The conversation is not going to be televised the way that like the Zelensky conversations have been. It's supposed to be a private conversation. The revolution will not be televised. It's not. It's going to be a private, closed door with just reporters. Yeah. That was my understanding. Otherwise, you guys know I'd be watching that shit. Are you kidding me? Of course I'd be watching that shit. All right. I can't believe Eric Adams really just like went to Israel and said like, I did my best to serve the people of Israel. It's like, what? What do you mean by that? What do you what do you mean? Man literally says he was their mayor. It's like, oh, okay. I guess fuck New Yorkers. Who gives a shit about those people? Okay. All right. If I was Mamdani, I would not be going to any private room with Trump. Well, there are reporters there, so it's not just like him and Trump. There are still reporters in there. It could be worse. It could be worse. How much do you think after the meeting Trump will go, I like this guy. He's got crazy ideas, but people like him, so I like him. 100%. 1,000,000%. You have to understand that I don't think anyone can resist Mamdani. I think he has so much charisma that there is no one that can be in a room with Mamdani for even 5 minutes without immediately wanting to glaze him. That's my humble opinion, personally. And he kind of already has done that. Oh, hi, Vio. He kind of already has done that a little bit by saying, listen, he's very charismatic. He's very good at speaking to the people. They like him. They like him a lot. And Trump likes people liking him. So narcissism will win, yeah. Do you think this is where he gets John Fetterman? God, I hope not. Dude, I would actually... Why would you even say that? Like, what the fuck? Who said that? Who said that? Squid Cup, you are sick fuck. I can't believe you would even will it into being. You would even think about such a terrible thing. You are sick. You are a sick fucking bastard, you piece of shit. Don't even say that. Don't even manifest it. You sick bastard. I can't believe you just made me think of that. I can't believe you just made me think of the universe, the world, where like, we are betrayed by Mamdani. You're like Republican sleeper cell. Sammy's gonna die soon. We don't need a spirit to possess Mamdani. I know. God, dude. Oh my God. All right. Dude, someone needs to stop Kyle. Dude, Kyle, he's gonna get got. Dude, Kyle's gonna get fucking disappeared. No, no. Guys, I don't know how much longer I could take it with my timeline just being Charlie Kirk. Playing Sims for the first time in a year, and they made Charlie Kirk in The Sims. Stop. Like, I just need it to stop. I need it to end. I'm begging. I am begging for it to end.